From a South African perspective, by the Cape Town Tigers. They lost their first match against the New Stars of Burundi. There are only 3 spots up for grabs for the East Division at this tournament for next year's BAL tournament. Cape Town Tigers captain Pieter Prinsloo joins me along with Basketball South Africa's president Sanele Mthiyane. A very good evening and welcome to the both of you to Newsroom Africa.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it seems as if Sanele is still going to be joining us, but Pieter is the captain of the Cape Town Tigers. A difficult match yesterday.
Yeah, obviously not the way we wanted to start the tournament, but every team faces adversity. It's also something that we as a team have not experienced since we've been together. Every tournament so far that we've played, we've won all our matches. So maybe it was a good thing that we faced this adversity at this point and kind of give ourselves the time to reflect and regroup and then prepare for tomorrow.
Defeat is not something that the Tigers are used to.
No, not at all. Like I said, every tournament, with SA Club Championships and along with the Zone 6 qualifiers that we play here, we didn't lose a single match. And to this point, so we haven't hit that point of adversity that we needed and, really tasted defeat. So maybe at this point of the tournament, obviously we want to win all our matches, but sometimes, you have to go through these things to get better and to improve the team.
Are you and the team confident that you guys can secure one of those 3 spots available for next year's Basketball Africa League?
I mean, we as a team, we obviously know the capabilities that we have. We've seen what we've played against, and obviously we know who we're going to be facing. The team tomorrow obviously is not going to be an easy competitor, but we have beaten them in the Zone 6 qualifiers. And so if we know as long as we play our style of basketball, play Cape Town Tigers basketball and do the things we need to on the court, that we are going to win whichever battle we need to. So we have all the confidence and all the thoughts that we are going to finish out this tournament the way we need to, win the matches that we need to, and qualify for the BAL next year.
Tell us a little bit about the BAL tournament. It's the first time that the NBA are trying to get a league off of the ground outside of their traditional American market.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so Europe has their own structure with the whole Euro League. So what the NBA and FIBA has been trying to structure now with this new Basketball Africa League is a system where players can not only play home in their countries in Africa in a big league where it's a professional environment, but also use this to look at young talent and take these young talented guys over to America to prepare them maybe for university and the potential shot at the NBA. We've seen a huge influx of African-born players that are in the NBA at the moment, with high player guys like Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, and there's some others as well that, so in recent years, it's not just the Europeans that are going towards the NBA. There's a lot of talent in Africa, but the thing is, there's not a lot of structure always here. And there's never been a league to really bring all of it together. So what they're really trying to do is now with having 12 different teams and 12 different countries throughout Africa, they can showcase the talent that's on this continent and then also use it to promote the game of basketball and provide guys with a potential future at playing university or in the NBA.
Pieter, as a basketball player, basketball can be a pretty full-on contact sport at times. How nervous are you just with the Omicron variant currently sweeping across South Africa? And how confident are you that the team are safe and secure in the current bubble that you guys are in Turfentine?
I mean, obviously, there are some concerns. This COVID pandemic has been taking its toll on the whole world for the last, year and a half, 2 years about now. But, obviously we can only do as much as we possibly can on this side, take all the safety measures, go with your mask everywhere, don't touch anything not wanted, always sanitize, wash your hands. And unfortunately, we all understand why, but unfortunately there's no spectators allowed at the event right now. So just keeping your distance, making sure you can do as much as you possibly can, and then hoping, for the best. Obviously, COVID is something that at certain points you just can't prevent. Eventually it just hits some people. Some people have been unlucky and gotten it multiple times throughout the time of the pandemic. But, obviously basketball is a contact sport, but as long as they can keep all the players here doing everything they can, and they're doing COVID testing to make sure that there are no positive tests coming up. That's the best of their abilities that everybody has here before deciding to suspend and cancel, which has happened all across the world at a certain point with sports.
Pieter, can you tell us a little bit about the Cape Town Tigers? Many South African sports fans know about basketball and immediately associated with the biggest league in the world being the NBA, and maybe not so many people au fait with basketball here in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, obviously basketball in South Africa has never been the biggest sport. We know that, there's bigger sports here that most people follow: rugby, cricket, soccer, and athletics, along with golf. Basketball, obviously, it's a growing community here and a growing fan base that we have in South Africa. But the Cape Town Tigers trying to build something completely different, something new. Bringing in foreign guys, bringing in some of the South African guys like myself, Chris Gabriel, that play overseas, that were never here in South Africa really, just because of how there is no big basketball the way it is. I mean, we have the BNL here, but at a certain level, guys, it's not big enough. And we have the potential to build something huge here with Cape Town Tigers. There's a vision from our owners. They've brought in American talent with the import players they can bring. They've brought the proper coaching. And they're not just trying to build something for a small amount of time. We're trying to build a franchise so that in the future, people can always know that Cape Town Tigers is this club that represents South Africa, that we represent the whole country, and that we are looking to potentially win the BAL. That's our ultimate goal. So, people in South Africa, for those people that don't follow basketball, I really hope they get into it and start following the sport. And then for those people that do follow basketball in our country, we really want them to start seeing what Tigers is building, that, it's just not a small organization, that we're looking to build and promote the sport of basketball within this country, help our youth do things where we know that for the future, this sport is going to be huge, and that the young kids growing up today have an opportunity, have a chance to do something big with this.
Thank you very much. That's Pieter Prinsloo. He is the captain of the Cape Town Tigers, who are currently competing in the qualifying tournament for the East Division for the Basketball Africa League. We are now joined by Sanele Mthiyane, who is the Basketball South Africa president. A very good evening and welcome to Newsroom Africa.
Yeah, good evening and thanks for having us.
Can you give us a little bit of an idea of what this means for basketball in the country to host this qualifying tournament for the Basketball Africa League?
Well, first of all, I'd like to send a message, as it is the 16 days of activism, to denounce any form of abuse against our women and children, especially on the court. Look, as Basketball South Africa is a country, we were grateful to have this competition taking place in our shores. You would understand that for many years we've been hosting all the Basketball Without Borders, which is a program that is between the FIBA and the NBA. So this being the second edition of the competition this year, we have obviously given an opportunity by FIBA to host the West division of this competition, which would be see us having 3 teams that will qualify further. And of course, we're rooting for our Cape Town Tigers to be to go through. So it is a competition that we are grateful to have, and we think that there's a lot of potential in the future to host the final edition, as we know that it is hosted in Rwanda at the moment.
Sanele, what was the motivation and the discussion around continuing with this competition in light of the fact that Johannesburg is in the throes of the 4th wave of the coronavirus pandemic?
Look, it's very, very concerning to us, of course, but obviously we've put in a lot of measures in place to have all our post officers and the teams as well complying with the government regulations. And obviously you would know that we have been given a notice that our teams in the Lesotho have had to be recalled because of the same challenge where there's an increase, which is quite very unfortunate, but we're hoping that whatever systems that we've put in place will be able to ensure that the competition continues without any hindrance. And we are hoping that, of course, there will be no cases that will be reported from the players. So we are keeping our plans in place to ensure that we are aware, and we will obviously work with the government agencies to ensure that anything that might be of a red alert will be able to take instructions from the organizers about the tournament.
Sanele, can you explain to us how it works with the teams? Pieter was earlier speaking about the makeup of their team and what Cape Town Tigers is hoping to achieve. They brought in a couple of international players. Are there any rules around the amount of international players you can actually have as part of your team?
Yeah, look, the competition itself is designed to ensure that there is inclusiveness, participation, giving a chance from our local players, and also having some international players added into the team. Of course, they are made to be very biased to more of the local players in that particular country to be the one that are participants. But it also add quite a lot of value given the design of the competition, that it's a high-level competition. We've seen a lot of scouts that are coming from the NBA, franchises that are also looking into scouting the players, and it gives a lot of competition for us as well as a country, given the fact that the competition commences from our district level up until the level where the Cape Town Tigers has qualified. So it is quite a great competition to be part of, and I think over the coming years, it will also add value in the development and improvement of our competition and competing with other African countries who are much ahead of us in terms of the level of competition.
Sanele, the Basketball Africa League is an extremely exciting program because it's the opportunity for FIBA, who globally run basketball, but also for the NBA to have a league outside of their traditional American market. But surely you have other investors. Who's sponsoring the teams and who's sponsoring the competition?
Well, at the moment, you'll understand that it's the private clubs that have invested a lot of money to participate in this competition. We have as a national federation, particularly as a South Africa, taken an initiative to support some of the things that our teams would require. For instance, the technical part of the game, it is handled by Basketball South Africa. So we are obviously rooting for the inclusiveness of the private sector, to come in, and pump in some resources into the sport, given that government obviously would inject quite a few resources into it. The sport of basketball is such a lifestyle-oriented sport, and that resonates well with the markets that private sector wants to play in. So obviously currently putting some strategies to ensure that it is our basketball is palatable for the potential investors, especially for our clubs in our country.
All right, so just to clarify, at the moment the tournament is being funded by the clubs themselves.
Yes. So we have got a lot of support that is being done by private clubs themselves, but the technical part of the game is being done by the national federations.
Lovely stuff. That's Sanele Mthiyane from Basketball South Africa, the president of that national federation, who are the hosting federation for the East Division qualifying tournament for the Basketball Africa League, which is currently underway in Johannesburg, and South Africa being represented by the Cape Town Tigers. Thank you very much to both.